Hey beautiful people. So I woke up this morning in Cambodia and I thought, hey, I'm going to make a video and talk about how to last 2 hours or more in sexual union. So this is a method or a technique that I picked up at the Tantra yoga retreat a few weeks ago, and I think it's just so helpful and so powerful because there's just so much bad sex going on everywhere. No one's talking about it, and it is missing the potential to be a super healing process for all involved, to be more fulfilling for all involved. Because there's a lot of bad sex, and what I'm talking about is the sex that's like just, and it's over. So 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour if you're lucky. So what I'm going to explain in this video is a way to last 2 hours or longer. And what it comes down to is yin and yang. So that's the Australian way we say yang. I'm pretty sure the correct pronunciation is yang, so yin and yang. In the more Hindu style, we call it Shiva and Shakti. So one is more male energy, one is more female energy. One is more active and fire, and the other one is more cooling and water. So when you bring both of these energies together, you have a more sort of sustainable, more fulfilling, more powerful, more healing process. So this is what I'm going to talk about. And the common sex that's being practiced now is more yang dominated. It's active, 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 over. So I'm going to need a cup of tea, a sip of cup of tea for this. Okay, so what's going to help initially is to actually work with a timer. I know it sounds a bit dry and unspontaneous, but it's like a way of training your nervous system and training your practice so that you can eventually later on you can get rid of the timing, but initially for the practice it's good to use a timer. Another really good idea is to use a playlist which syncs up with the timing, so you know when the time is to shift gears. So the way it works is this: the first 15-20 minutes is yang, so you're building up. And this can be usually it's foreplay or just building the heat. Then 15-20 minutes, so once that's completed, the next 15-20 minutes is we're moving into cool down. So moving into yin, and this is more like a space of just resting and being with each other. When I say resting, it's nothing to do with sleep. It's more of a meditational space. It's a quietude. It's a stillness with each other. So cuddling. You can still be connected. You can still be plugged in. And the erection can be down, but you can still be connected. And this is like a process of just being with each other. And if you do use conversation, which is not always ideal, but it does happen and it's fine as well, is not to talk about things like work, not to talk about future or past, but to use conversation that brings you into presence. So, oh, your skin feels like this, you look like this right now, I feel like this right now. So things like that to keep it in this meditative atmosphere. Just enjoying each other's presence, enjoying each other's touch. And then after that 15-20 minutes, we go up again. So we go back into yang, we go back into action, friction-orientated activities. So 15-20 minutes on the up, and then after 15-20 minutes, I cool down again. Another 15-20 minutes cool down, being in each other's space, being in each other's presence. And then again, third time up the hill. So third time up the hill is basically build, 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 build. And then on the third time, if the man ejaculates on the peak of the third time, and then that's actually 2 hours of sexual union. And then it's a 15-20 minute cool down after that. So that's how you can make it last for 2 hours. They call it, what the language they were using is peaks and valleys. So aim for 3 peaks, 3 valleys. So, and you'll notice that the peaks will get higher and the valleys will get lower. So the first peak, you go up so far and then you come down so far. The second one, you'll be able to go a bit more, and it's a bit more intense, a bit more powerful. And then the next valley is much more meditative, much more powerful, much more spacious. And then the third one is even greater. So you kind of work up into this amazing space. And it comes back to Qi in Chinese medicine. Oh, you might be able to hear the Cambodian. It's actually a temple behind me, and I was woken up 5 a.m. this morning by chanting, but that's okay. So Qi is accumulative, which means it takes time to build upon itself. You just can't go bang and then get, access higher states of Qi. It's like a slow building process. So peaks and valleys. So up for 15, 20 minutes, down for 15, 20, up for 15, 20, down for 15, 20, up for 15, 20, and down for 15, 20. If you can learn to practice this, get it into your nervous system and find a partner who's willing and also willing to practice, you can go for longer. You can go for hours and hours and hours like this process. So for the man, it's really important not to go more than 60, 70% excitability on those initial peaks. Because once you go over that, it's really hard to come back. I'm sure you realize that. So use your breathing. Mouth breathing is good. Use voice and just go steady. So go steady. 15, 20 minutes up, 15, 20 minutes down. So that's the picture. So three peaks and 3 valleys. You can also start from a valley. So if you're too tired to start in the yang space, you can just lie and be with each other for 15, 20 minutes, feeling that connection. And then you might feel the urge of yang come, the urge of fire. And then you go in, you build up 15, 20 minutes, and then you chill. So you can enter it any way. The most important thing, I think, is just not to go into it, go first peak all over. That's actually what we want to avoid. And in this way, I think that you can train yourself to experience pleasure without the association of always ejaculating, especially for men. So you can actually build this kind of energy, you can actually build this sort of sexual energy process and not always be connected with ejaculation, which can often be connected with depletion. So you can experience immense pleasure without the connection of depletion at the end of it. So I think that's a very powerful method, a very powerful technique. And you can use a timer, but again, I think using a playlist is more softer than that. And that's about it. So I hope I did a good job trying to explain. Of course, there's many other sort of rituals and processes that you can bring into the process, but I just wanted to touch on the timing aspect and give you a kind of a framework that you can start working with. And I hope that's it. I hope that's helpful. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer. And I'll speak to you another time. Namaste.